Welcome back to the Web Technologies course. In previous class, we are talking about the different types of JSP elements are there. So how many elements are there? We are having the total 3 elements are there. So first one is the directive element is there. After that, we are talking about the action elements. After that, we are talking about the scripting elements are there. Okay. So with the help of all these different types of elements, what we are doing, we are designing the web page, or we are designing the web page, or we are constructing the dynamic content, and we are forwarding that particular information to the requested client, right? So in previous class, what we are doing, we are talking about all these elements. With the help of these elements, what we are doing here, we are constructing the response, and we are forwarding that particular response to the requested client. Once you are getting the request from the client mission, so what we are doing, we are generating the response. We are generating the response with the help of these elements, with the help of these 3 different types of elements. And what we are doing, and we are forwarding all those response to the requested client. We are forwarding all those response to the requested client, right? For generating that particular response, we are taking the JSP elements. Okay, we are taking the, with the help of the JSP element, what we are doing, we are constructing the response. There we are having the different types of elements are there. So first one is the directive elements are there. After that we are having the action elements are there. After that we are having the scripting elements are there. In previous class we seen in the detail about the scripting elements, right? In previous class we seen in detail about the scripting element. In those scripting elements we are having the 3 different types of elements are there. Oh, okay. So we are having the 3 different types of elements are there. So with the help of all those 3 elements, what we are doing, we are designing the, or we are constructing the dynamic HTML page, or we are constructing the dynamic response to the client mission, right? So there we are talking about the declarative tag. There we are talking about the declarative element. After that we are talking about, we are talking about the scriptlet element. After that we are talking about the, some third one is nothing but some include element is there. Okay, so what we are doing here, so we are talking about the declarative elements we are talking. After that what we are talking, after that we are talking about the expression elements. After that we are talking about the scriptlets are there. So with the help of these different types of tags, what we are doing, we are constructing the response, and we are forwarding that particular response to the requested client. What we are doing here, we are forwarding that particular response to the requested client, right? Now what we are doing in particular elements, what we are doing in particular these elements here is, so we are taking with the help of these particular tags, or with the help of these particular elements, what we are doing here, we are taking the piece of Java code, and we are putting that particular piece of Java code in this particular tag, right, based on your expression. If you are doing for the evaluation, or if you are doing any expression evaluation, for that which tag we are using the expression tag. Clear? We are using the expression tag. If you want to declare, or if you want to do any initialization of the particular object, so for that we are using the declarative tag. Clear? If you want to print normal Java code, or normal purpose of what we are doing, so we are using the, or we are taking the help of the scriptlet tag, right? All those things we seen in the last class, and also we seen in the some programs, or we seen in the some programs in JSP. Okay, now what we are doing here is, now we are going to talk about the 9 different types of implicit objects. Clear? Here now we are going to talk about the 9 different types of implicit objects. Now what is this particular implicit object? What is the use of this particular object here? Okay, so what we are doing here is, so with the help of this particular implicit object, so here what we are doing, so first we are getting the request from the client mission, right? We are getting the request from the client mission, and your server mission is available. Your server mission will take in that particular request, and what is doing, it is processing that particular request. Clear? What this particular server is doing, it will take in the request, and it is processing that particular request. There what we are doing here, there we are talking about the JSP lifecycle, or we are talking about the JSP translation phase and JSP processing phase. Clear? So what we are doing here, we are taking the JSP code, and we are converting, or we are translating that particular JSP code into the .java file, or we are converting that particular JSP code into the servlet file. Clear? Once the servlet file translation is over, so now what we are doing, now we are compiling that particular file, and we are executing that particular file. Clear? We are compiling and we're executing that particular file, and what we are doing here, we are taking that particular information and we are posting that particular information, or we are forwarding that particular information to the requested clients. Means what here, while you are executing your .class file, so or while you are executing your servlet file, so what you will get some response, right? You will get some response, right? What we are doing here, we are taking that particular response and we are forwarding that particular response back to the requested client mission. Clear? We are forwarding that particular response back to the requested client mission, right? So how you are forwarding that particular response to the requested client mission? So here we are talking about the 9 objects. With the help of these 9 implicit objects, so with the help of these 9 implicit objects only, we are forwarding that particular response back to the requested client, right? So here first implicit object is the out is there. Okay, so first implicit object is the out, second one is the request, and the third one is the response, next one is the session, application, exception, page context, and configuration or config objects are there. Clear? Clear? All these 9 different types of objects are available in these packages. Okay, so what is the first package? Here we are using the JSP writer. Okay, first we are using the JSP writer, next we are using the HTTP servlet request. Okay, so next we are using the HTTP servlet response, next we are using the first session, we are using the HTTP session. Clear? For application we are using the servlet context. Okay, for application object we are importing the package called javax.servlet context. Okay, javax.servlet context. If you are using the page object, for that we are using the land.object. Page context, we are using the javax.servlet.jsp.page context. If you are using the configuration object, for that we are using the servlet.servletconfig. Okay, servlet.servletconfig. Or if you want to use the exception, what package we have to import for exception? For that we have to import the, here we are talking about the all JSP exception only, or servlet exception, right? So for that you have to import the servlet.jsp exception package you have to import in your program. Clear? So after that what we are doing here, so with, after that you have to import all these packages in your program. So next we'll see the what is the particular out object, what is the functionality of this particular out object, and what is the role of this particular out object while forwarding the response back to the requested client. Okay, so first we'll see that one. See here, this particular, with the help of this particular out object, what we are doing here is we are writing the data to the buffer. And we are sending that particular output to the requested client. Means what here, we are taking the response from the server mission. And what we are doing here, we are forwarding that response back to the client mission. Okay, so with the help of the out object, what we are doing, we are writing the data. For writing the data, you require some buffering object, or you require some buffer object, right? That buffer object is available in this particular out object. Clear? For writing that particular write buffer, you require, with the help of that particular write buffer only, you can write the data. Okay, once your writing is done, so now what we are doing, now we are forwarding that particular response back to the requested client. That's why we are using this particular object is a write class. Okay, this particular out object is available. Clear? Means what here, so we are taking the data and we are writing some information. For writing that, we require some object, right? So that particular object is nothing but the write buffer. Okay, we are writing the data and we are sending the data and we are forwarding that particular response back to the requested clients. Okay, that is the main use of this particular out object. Clear? That is the main use of this particular out object. So next one is the request object. Okay, so next one is the request object. So here what we are doing here, so with the help of this particular request, we are getting the information from the client mission. You are sending some information to the server mission, right? So this is called the client mission. And you are having the server mission, right? In this particular server mission only, we are having the JSP engine is there, Coyote is there. Okay, Coyote is a JSP page engine is there. With the help of these techniques, or with the help of these components, What we are doing here, we are taking the JSP page and we are translating that particular JSP page. After that, finally we are getting this what here. We are executing the two pages, right? So what is the first one? First one is the translation page. Okay, first one is the translation phase. Second one is the compilation phase. Okay, all those things we are doing in this particular JSP container only, right? So here, what is the use of this particular request object? We are getting the request object from the server. We are getting the request object from the client machine. In this particular request object, we are having the two parts. This particular request object, we are having the two parts. So first one is the header object. So or we can say the first part is the header part and second part is the body part. Okay, first part is the header part and second part is the body part. In this particular header part, what we are maintaining here, we are maintaining the header related information. Okay, we are maintaining the header related information. What is that header related information? What type of technique you are using, okay, for encoding the data, and what type of language you are using. All those required information is available in this particular header part. Clear? In this particular header part. And one more thing here is, so you can in this particular header part we are having the what are the encoding techniques and what type of language you are using, and all those things, all those information, or what are the parameter you are, what are the protocol you are using for the communication, what is the browser you are using, or what is the browser used by your client machine. Okay, what is the version of that particular browser and what is the agent type of that particular browser. All those information is available in our header part. Okay, header part. Okay, so next one is the body part is there. Okay, now what we are doing here, now we are requesting some information, or now we are requesting some service to the client server machine, right? That requested information, that user related information is maintained in this particular body part. Okay, that particular user related information is maintained in this particular body part. Okay, so here we are having the two parts are there. What is the first part? First part is the header part and second part is the body part. Clear? In this part, with the help of this particular header part, we can get the data, that header related information like your encoding techniques, what kind of language you are using, what kind of agent you are using, okay, and what is the version of your web browser, of client. All those information is maintained in this particular header part, and also what type of protocol you are using for the communicating the web browser or for communicating the server. All those information is maintained in this particular header part. And body part, user related information, what is the requested information, that information we are maintaining in this particular body part. And one more point you have to remember, it will be created by the container for every request. Okay, you sending n number of users are there, or n number of client missions are there. So n number of client missions are accessing that particular server. Okay, for example, take your YouTube server is there. So what we are doing here, so we are streaming some video there, and other person also streaming some video, and other person also streaming some video, right? Like that we are having the n number of users are there. N number of users are sending the query for the YouTube for accessing the streaming service, right? So what that particular YouTube server is doing, YouTube server is providing the service, right? For each and every request, this particular request object will be created. Okay, this particular request object will be created, and this particular request object is maintained by the container. Okay, this particular object is maintained by the container. Okay, so and one more thing you have to remember here, with the help of this particular request object, what we'll do, what can we retrieve the data? We can retrieve the header information, and also we can retrieve the user information. Clear? We can retrieve the header information, and also we can retrieve the user information. With the help of the get parameter. Okay, with the help of the get parameter method, we can retrieve the user related information. Okay, with the help of the get parameter, we can retrieve the user information, or we can access all those information. Whatever the user is sending some request to the server machine, that information we can retrieve with the help of the get parameter. Clear? With the help of the get parameter, we can retrieve all those information. Okay, so that is the use of this particular request object. So next one is a response object is there. So what is this particular response object? This particular response object is an instance of a class. Okay, so this particular response object is an instance of a class which implements the HTTP servlet response interface. Okay, for implementing that particular response interface, what we are doing here, so we are taking the help of this particular response object. With the help of this particular response object, and what we are doing, we are implementing that particular HTTP servlet response interface. Okay, clear? Now what we are doing here is with the help of this particular response object. Okay, with the help of this particular response object, so what we are doing here, we are sending some response back to the client mission. We are sending some response back to the client mission. There, while sending some response back to the client mission, there we can set the content type. We can set the set content. We can set the content type. What type of content you want to set, or what type of content you want to forward that information to the your client mission. Okay, whatever you are forwarding to the client mission, that information will be forwarded through response object only. Through this particular response object only. Clear? Means what here, if you are creating some response or you are getting some service. So for example, take your YouTube service is there, YouTube server is there. So you are searching some video, you got that particular video. Now what you are doing, you clicking on that particular video, and that video will start streaming, right? That video will start streaming, right? So from where you are getting that particular information, you are getting that particular information from the server. In your particular server, some request will be forwarded to your server machine. So based on that particular request, it will process that particular request, and it will give some response back to the requested client in the form of the response, right? That particular response contains that related information. Okay, that particular response contains the related information requested by the client mission. Clear? That related information requested by the client mission, that information we are maintaining in this particular response. Okay, and one more thing here is, now here where you want to forward, whether which website you want to navigate. Okay, so you are having the, while you are streaming that particular video, in middle you are getting some advertisements, right? So whenever you are clicking that particular advertisement, it will navigate to you some that particular destination website or that particular URL. Clear? Or for example, you are getting some Amazon ads you are getting in your YouTube. In your YouTube streaming, you are getting some Amazon ads, or you are getting the IPL updates there. So whenever you are clicking on that particular IPL update ad, so what it will do, it will navigate to the hotstar.com, right? It will navigate to the hotstar.com, right? Now here what we are talking here is your client, your mission, or your client mission, or your web browser, or we can say that particular page. So we are having the hyperlink is there, right? So whenever you are clicking on that particular link, it will navigate into that particular response here. So if you come to the server language, so here what we are doing here is, so we are constructing one response, right? Now what we have to do, now we have to forward that particular response to the client mission. How we are forwarding that particular response to the client mission? So with the help of the send redirect method, or with the help of the forward method, all these methods, what we are doing here is, we are forwarding that particular response to the client mission, or we are sending this particular response to the client mission. Clear? So, or you can say, or the better example is, you can go to your google.com, you type something there, you are getting some related information will be displayed on your Google page, right? So whenever you are clicking on that particular link, so directly it will navigate to that particular destination. Clear? Means what here, that hyperlinks are available on your Google server. Whenever you are clicking or whenever you are interacting with that particular link, what will happen, it will navigate, or it will go to some other page, or it will go to that particular destination, right? So for that, what we are doing here is, for that we are using the send redirect. Okay, send redirect method we are using. If you want to use that particular send redirect method, that particular send redirect method is available on your response object. That particular method is available in your response object. So how to use that particular send redirect, or if you want to redirect to other website, so for that we have to use a response dot send redirect. Response dot send redirect. Here you have to pass your website name here. So where you want to navigate, or you can say URL IP address. URL address you have to pass. Okay, you have to pass your URL address here. So for that only we are using this particular send request. This particular send request is available in our response object. Okay, so next we will see the So next we'll see configuration object is there. Okay, next what we are doing here, next we are talking about the configuration object. This particular configuration object is available in your servlet.servlet config. Okay, servlet.servlet config. So in this package only we are using this particular config object, or in this package only this particular config object is available. Okay, so next what is that? So it is created by the container for each JSP page. Okay, so whenever you are sending one request to your server with the help of the JSP, so what will happen? In our server we are having the container is there, JSP container is there. With the help of that particular JSP container, each and every application, each and every application in that application we are having the different pages, right? Each and every page, what will happen, one configuration object will be created. In that particular configuration object only we are initializing the parameters. Okay, we are initializing some parameters. Clear? We are initializing the parameters and we are accessing all those parameters. Okay, for initializing the parameters. Okay, for that what we are using here is, for that we are using the configuration object. Okay, in your server machine or in your servlet or in your JSP. Okay, so for initializing the parameters. Okay, for initializing the parameters in your server or servlet. So for that we are using the config object. With the help of this particular config object only we are initializing the parameters. Okay, once your initialization is over, so how to access all those parameters? For accessing that parameters we are using the get initialized parameters method. Here you have to pass your information, your initialized parameter name. You pass your initialized parameter name and you will get that particular initialized parameter value here. Okay, clear? Now it is used to get the initialized parameters in the web.xml. So where we are initializing that particular parameters, so we are having the web.xml is there, web.xml file is there, right? We are having the web.xml file is there. What is the use of this particular web.xml file? So with the help of this particular web.xml file, whenever you are getting the request to your server machine, server will go to your helper, one descriptor is there, right? Or we can say the helper. With the help of that particular helper, we are checking whether your servlet is available or not, whether your JSP page is available or not. Clear? If that information is available, now what we are doing here, so we are taking that particular information and we are going to that particular servlet page. We are going to that particular servlet. Okay. In this particular web.xml only we are initializing the parameter. How we are initializing the parameter? For that we are using the init param. Init param. Okay, init param. Tag we are using open tag and close init param. Init param. Here you have to pass the init param name, and you have to pass the param value. Param name and param value how to pass. Okay, so this particular parameter name, with the help of this particular initialized parameter name you have to call, then only you will get the parameter value. Clear? Initialized parameter value. So that is the use of this particular configuration object. So next one is the application object. Okay, so next one is the application object. What is this particular application object? This particular application object is available in the javax.servlet context. Okay, javax.servlet context. In that particular package only we can get this particular application object. Okay, application object. What is the use of this particular application object? With the help of this particular application object, what we are doing here is we are getting the application wise initialization parameters. Okay, so for example we are having the server is there. In this particular server, so what we are having, we are having the different types of applications are the application 1, application 2, okay, application 3 is there. Different types of applications are available. Okay, so with the help of this particular application object, so what we are doing here is we are getting the separate values for each and every application. Okay, so whenever your client is sending a request to that particular application 1, so what will happen? It will create one object. It will create one servlet object. Okay, it will create one servlet context object. With the help of that particular servlet context object only, we are getting this particular application one information. Okay, we are getting that particular application one information with the help of the application object. With the help of the application object. With the help of this particular application object. And also what we can do, so we can initialize the parameters. We can initialize the parameters and to maintain the useful data across the JSP pages. JSP pages or JSP applications. Yeah. So once you, for example, one dot JSP page is there. One dot JSP page is there. So what you are doing here is in this particular one dot JSP page, you are initializing some parameters here. You are initializing some parameters, or you can say you can erase all these things. Okay, so let us say you are having the one.jsp page is there. One.jsp page is there. In this particular one.jsp page, what you are doing here is with the help of the set attribute method, we are having the set attribute method is there. Okay, with the help of this particular set attribute method, so what we are doing here, we are setting the attributes here. First you have to use the attribute name A1, and next you have to pass the A1 value. You have to pass the A1 value, right? Now here what we are doing here, so with the help of this particular application, with the help of this particular application, so we are setting the application dot set attribute. Okay, application dot set attribute. With the help of application dot set attributes, what we are doing here, we are setting the attributes there. First we have to pass the attribute name. After that you have to pass the attribute value in one page. One page you have to set the attribute value and attribute name and attribute value. So next what we are doing here is we are opening the another page, that is the JSP2.jsp, and here what we are doing here, we are accessing the value. How to access? Application dot which method we have to use for getting the data? For getting the data we have to use the get method. Okay, get. After that which method you are using, that method name you have to append here. So here we are using the get attribute. So here you have to pass the attribute name here. What is my attribute name here? A1. You have to pass the attribute name A1. Okay, you have to pass the attribute name A1. Clear? You have to pass the attribute name A1. That A1 information will be displayed here. Okay, that A1 information will be displayed here. And one more thing you have to remember. So here JSP1 is available. JSP1.1.jsp and 2.jsp, and these two pages are available in a one single application or in one single project. Okay, so we are developing a project in NetBeans, right? In that particular single project, these two pages will be available. Okay, this is for the application 1 or project 1. And again you are creating the project 2. One more project you are creating. But here, from here to here we cannot access. From here to here we cannot access. That's why we are talking here only the one application. Only one application we can use. Okay, if there is a relation between the application 1 and application 2, there is any link is there, so there we can forward this particular application information to this particular project 2. Otherwise we cannot forward. If there is any relation between these two pages, then only we can forward. If there is no relation these two pages, and this is an independent application and this is an independent application, in that case we can this particular application object, it will work only in this particular project only. Here we cannot access. Clear? That everything what we are doing, that everything we are defining in that particular web.xml descriptor file. Okay, so that is the use of this particular application. Okay, that is the use of this particular application. See here. So third point is the application object is created by container, one per application. Clear? When the application gets deployed. Okay, so when your application is deployed means what? Once your project is over, once your project in a running stage, there we are using, there if you want to pass the information from one page to another page, we can pass the information from one page to another page with the help of the application object. Clear? So next one is the session object is there. Okay, this particular session object handles the HTTP. Sorry, this particular session is holding the HTTP session object. This particular session holds the HTTP session object, right? So what is this particular HTTP session? While you are doing the transactions, right? You are doing the net banking, you are doing some online transaction in your laptop or in your mobile, right? So there, once the time limit is over, if you are having some 10 minutes time is there, while you are booking some ticket by using the abhibus.com or APSRTC.com is there, right? So with the help of these sites, what you are doing, you are booking or you are reserving a one seat for your journey, right? So there it will mention some time limit there, some 10 seconds or some 10 minutes there. Within that 10 minutes, you have to pay the money. If you are unable to pay that particular amount in that particular given time, what will happen? That particular session will be expired. What is that particular session? Means what? In that particular session is secure. No one can access that particular session. Once your session is expired, that particular session ID will not be generated again. Okay, once your session ID is expired, you cannot access that particular expired ID, or you cannot track that particular information. That related information is available in this particular session object. Okay, session object. Here this particular session object is used to get and remove the attribute to the session. Clear? If you want to set any attributes in your application, or if you want to remove any attributes, or if you want to add any attributes to a session, so for that we are using the session object. Means what I am talking here is for adding the objects to the for adding the object, for removing the object, or for modifying the object, for setting the object, for getting the object. If you want to do all these modifications in your sessions, so for that we have to use the session object. Okay, for that we have to use the session object. Okay, so next parameter is the page context. Okay, so next parameter is the page context. This particular page context is an instance of Java X dot servlet dot JSP dot page context. JSP dot page context. In this particular package only we can use this particular page context object. Okay, so what is the next one? It is used for accessing page request. It is used for accessing page request, application and session attributes. Okay, with the help of this particular page context, what will happen here? So we can access the request of the client mission. We can access the request of the client mission, and also we can access the application information. Application means what here? That application object, we are setting some data, we are setting and getting method is there, right? For getting that attributes, we can use this particular application object in this particular page context. Okay, so next one is a set object or session. Okay, for access this particular page context object, this particular page context object, it will use the request object, it will use the application object, it will use the session object, and it can access that all those information. Okay, so with the help of this particular page context object, it is accessing the data of request, application and session attributes information in that particular application. Or we can say that with the help of this particular page context, we can access the request information, application information and session information. Clear? So the better example here is the better example here is okay. So better example here is what we are doing here is, again we are sending one request to the client mission. So sorry, this is a client mission where client mission is sending one request to the server mission. Request to the server mission, right? What will happen here? The server mission will take that particular request and it will do the processing. It will do the processing and it will send some response back to the client mission. Where it sends some response back to the client mission. So here we are processing the that particular client request, right? We are processing the particular client request, right? So for processing that particular client request, we require some data, right? For getting that particular data, it is using the application object. it is using the application object. With the help of this particular application object, it will get the parameters or it will get the attributes. Or if you are dealing with the any security concepts, or if you are dealing with the any session concept, it will use the session object. It will use a session object, and with the help of these methods or with the help of these, it will retrieve the attributes and it will construct the information, or it will construct the response, and it will forward that particular response back to the client machine. Okay, it will forward that particular response back to the client machine. Clear? And one more thing you have to remember, whenever you are sending one request to the your client server machine, so in that particular server machine, one context object will be created, right? One context object will be created. In that particular context object, we are having all this information. Okay, so if you are dealing with this particular page context, in that particular page context, what we are doing here, for crossing the data with the help of this particular page context, we can access the application data, we can access the session data, and also we can access the page attributes data. Okay, so that is a brief about the page context. So next one is the exceptions. Okay, what is this particular exception? This particular exception is an implicit object. This particular exception is an implicit object used in exception handling. Used in exception handling for displaying the error messages. Okay, you are having any error messages, you are having any errors in your pages. Clear? You are having any errors in your page. For handling all those kind of errors, for that what we are doing here, for that we are taking the help of this particular exception object. With the help of this particular exception object, we can handle all those errors. We can handle all those errors. Okay, so that is about the exception object. So next one is the that is about the exception object. So in today's class, what we are doing, what we are talking here, we are talking about the total. Okay, so total we seen about all 9 different types of objects there. So what is the first one? First one is the out object is there. So second one is the request, and third one is the response. Okay, so fourth one is the page, fifth one is the page context. So sixth one is the session. Seventh one is the exception. Eighth one is the application. Okay, so we seen all these 9 different types of implicit objects here. Okay, so ninth one is the config object. Okay, we've seen all these 9 different types of objects here. So now we'll see the process, how that particular objects we are using. Okay. Okay. Now we'll see how we are using all these 9 these different types of objects in our real-time application. So first, what we are having? First, we are having the client machine. We are having the client machine is there, and we are having the server machine, and this is called the server machine. Okay, server machine is there. So now what we are doing here, now we are sending one request to the client machine. Now we are sending one request to the server machine. Okay, we are sending one request to the server machine. Clear? We are sending one request to the server machine. What this particular server machine will do, inside that particular server machine, what we are having one JSP container. We are having the JSP web container, or JSP web container is there. Okay, JSP web container is there. So what this particular information, what this particular request having, for example, you can say that one.jsp file is there. Okay, with the help of this particular one.jsp file, what we are doing here, we are requesting some service there. Okay, we are requesting some service with the help of the one.jsp. Now what will happen here is, we are taking that particular one.jsp file. And what we are doing here is we're translating this particular one.jsp file into the .java file or servlet file. Okay, we're translating that particular file into the .java file or servlet file, and we are saying that particular phase is called the translation phase. We are saying this particular phase is called the translation phase. Okay, once your translation phase is done, okay, so once your translation phase is done, so what we are doing here, we are getting the dot class file or we are getting the servlet file, right? We are getting the dot class file here. Okay, we are getting the dot class file. Now what we are doing in this particular dot class file, and we are executing this particular dot class file. Okay, now what we are doing here is we are executing this particular dot class file. Once your execution is done, and what we are doing here, we are forwarding that particular response back to the client machine, and we are saying this is called a response. Okay, we are forwarding that particular response back to the client machine. So here what we are doing here, so we are executing this particular dot class file, right? Now what are the steps or what type of object we are referring, we'll see that particular thing here. So here what we are doing here is, first what we are getting, so first we are getting the request object. First what we are doing here, first we are talking about the request object. With the help of that particular request object, we are reading the all parameters or we are processing all those parameters. What are the information is available in this particular request object, we are reading all those information. Okay, once you are reading is that, now what we are doing here, we are constructing one response, right? We are constructing one response. In this particular response, what we are using the out object. Okay, we are using the out object. With the help of this particular out object, what we are doing here, we are writing the data to the buffer. Okay, we are writing the data to the buffer, or we are writing some data, or we are constructing some response, and with the help of the output buffer, with the help of the buffer object, Okay, once you are writing of the data, buffering is done. So what we are doing, we are sending some response back to the client machine with the help of the response object. Okay, so next, once your request is done, next what we are doing here, after that once your request reading is done, once your request processing is done, so we are getting the data. How we are getting the data? So we are getting the data with the help of the application object. We are getting the data with the help of the application object, or with the help of this particular application object, we can set the parameters and also we can get the parameters. Okay, so with the help of the request object, okay, we are with application data, we are getting the data and we are setting the data. That is the role of this particular application object. After that, what we are doing, for creating a context, right? So that we are using the page context. And also we are using some page attribute or page object is there. So with the help of this particular page, what we are doing here is we are setting what are the type of language we are using in that particular page or in that particular one.jsp page, what is the content type, all those things are available in this particular page object. Okay, page object. That is the use of this particular page object. Already we seen the page context object also. With the help of this particular page context object, we can get the data with the help of the application object, and also we can get the attributes of the session elements. Okay, with the help of the session, we can get the session attributes, and we can retrieve the session attributes in page context. Okay, and also we can get the current page information with the help of the page context. Okay, so that is the use of this particular page. That is the use of this particular page context. After that, if we are talking about some security parameters, so there we are using the session object. Okay, there we are using some kind of session object. Okay, if you want to configure, if you want to initialize any parameters in your server machine, so for that we are using the config object. Okay, for that we are using the config object. Right, now you see the how many objects are there. First one is the request object, next one is the application object, and third one is the page context, and fourth one is the page object is there, and fifth one is the out object is there, and sixth one is the response object is there, and you are having the session object is there, and you are having the config object is there. What is the remaining object here, and what object we are missing here? So you are having any errors in while creating all these objects. For handling all those errors, we are using the exception object. With the help of this particular exception object, we are handling all these 9 objects or 8 objects. Okay, you are having any errors, we are reporting all those errors to the exception object. Okay, so that is the role of this 9 implicit object. This is the implicit object. That is the use of the implicit object. Once you have response created, what we are doing here, we are forwarding that particular information to the client mission. So in that particular client mission, that information will be displayed in the web browser. Clear? Is it clear? So now what we are doing here, again I am repeating this one. So we are sending one request back to the server mission. Server will take that particular request and it will process. Okay. Here how many stages we are having? We are having that 2 stages or 2 phases are there. First one is the translation phase. Second one is the, what is the second one? Compilation phase. Okay. Compilation phase. Once your translation is over, it will enter into the compilation phase. It will convert the .class file into the .java file into the .class file. Once your .class file creation is done, now what we are doing? Now we are entering into the execution part. Okay, now we are entering into execution part. We are executing the code, or we are executing that particular request. Once the execution is done, so whatever you are getting the information, and we are creating in the form of the response, and we are forwarding that particular reply back to the requested client. Clear? So that is the entire scenario about your JSP pages. Clear? Is it clear? So client server is there. Inside that server we are having the JSP web container or JSP container is there. Okay. So here what we are doing here, we are doing the translation, means what we are passing the JSP pages, right? So there we can use the JSP, or we can say that is called the JSP engine. Okay, so this particular JSP engine is available in our Coyote, not Coyote, Catalina. Okay, we are having the web containers are there, right? So in web container we are having the different types of components are there, right? So first one is the Coyote, second one is the Catalina, Jasper is there, Cluster is there. After that, high performance is there. Okay, with the help of all these 5 components, what we are doing, we are handling all our web applications. Clear? So clear, with the help of the Jasper, what we are doing, we are passing the particular JSP pages. Clear? That information we are maintaining inside the server page, inside the server. Okay. So that